for your next storyteller, Kent Whipple, everybody.
Even though it was muffled, I could hear every hateful word. Mom and Dad were having another one of their drunken fights right above me in the living room. I was in my bedroom below it. I am 10 years old, and I'm sitting on my bunk bed watching Fantasy Island on a 6-inch black and white screen. And I couldn't understand why they were being so mean to each other. I turned up the sound to kind of drown out the yelling. And right when Tattoo was going, the plane, the front door slammed so hard that it reverberated throughout the whole house and created this incredibly awkward silence. And I thought, well, that must have been Dad. Dad was a big man, 6 foot tall, but in my mind, he was probably like 20 feet tall. Former Marine, just a bear of a guy. And I thought, well, it must have been Dad, but it was quiet. So I decided to make my way upstairs. So I went through the small stairwell that goes up to our kitchen, and I'm going through the fluorescent lit kitchen, and I can smell the macaroni and cheese and ham still on the table. It used to be after we had dinner, Mom and Dad would go to the living room to smoke and drink and have laughs. And now it was just to drink and have fights. And I made my way around the corner, and I'm looking into the living room, and it's dark. And I can see this orange light, little ember moving up and down robotically. And I can hear the sound of ice clinking against the glass, getting deeper and deeper with each sip. And it smelled like stinky cigarette smoke, and anger and pain were sitting right there with the smoke. And then I could see it was Dad. My eyes adjusted, so it was Mom who left. And it was quiet. And I was behind the door frame for a while, and Dad noticed me. And he stood up, and I couldn't really see him, but I could hear the creak of the wooden floor under his weight. And I just said, "What are you guys fighting about?" And he walks over to me, and he's in his boxers, and he says, "It's nothing, go back to bed." And then he gave me this weird look like I'm a weirdo or something. So I made my way back down the stairs, and I hear this boom, 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 boom. And it was Dad running from the living room to the kitchen, and he's on top of the stairwell. And I look up and I see him, and he goes, "Turn around. Why are you wearing those stupid pajamas?" And I look down, and I love these pajamas. They're white flannel with little anchors and blue boats. And he says, "Only Nancy boys wear pajamas to sleep in. Men sleep in their underwear. And you need to start manning up." And I thought, what's going on? And he goes, "Take them off." I'm like, "What?" "Take them off!" You did what Dad said. So I started unsnapping the buttons, and I could feel the cold of the basement and the heat of my tears coming down involuntarily. And I thought, what on earth is going on? And he goes, "Now the pants." I dropped the pants, and I'm standing there, my tighty whities, cold. I had never felt so vulnerable or alone and confused. And all of a sudden I look up, and he looks like a minotaur with glowing red eyes up at the top of the stairs, and he starts barreling down, and I thought, he's gonna kill me. And I went back like a beaten dog, even though Dad never hit me once. And he stops, and I'm just standing there shaking, and he hugs me. And he says, "Listen, you need to man up. The world is a real hard place for sensitive boys like you. And I'm not going to be around. So you need to man up. And I just started crying. And he held me, and I melted into his arms. And we seemed to be there forever. Then I realize our world is changing. And I look at Dad, and Dad has a tear in his eye. And I realize his world is changing, my world is changing. We're both hurting, and we're both sensitive boys. Thanks.
Celebrate Kent Whipple. Let's let him hear it. One more time for Kent Whipple. Wow.